That's why I waited, yeah. Yeah, I have to tell you, when I went out to the bank, there was this big round hog out there. And I was almost knocked at the door and said, there's a suspicious suspect out here.
I said to him,
It didn't even like run away or anything, I was just like,
I was making notes on a case over at Morgantown Town. I said, that cat. I said, "It's not a cat, it's a cat." And she turned around. When there's somebody's, right across from the.
yeah.
There's like 3 in there. And then I walked down and get in the car. So I took the phone down. And a little baby rabbit. Baby rabbit back there. We just started rolling.
well, it's not, it's funny because it didn't run away or anything, and I thought, should I be scared? Somebody's in feeding or?
No, it's after clover. And then they would come and mow the grass, and mow the clover. There goes the clover, when it's heading up, the white on it, and all they love that.
It's just funny, because I'm just sitting right there, right in the corner.
You should take a picture of it.
I tried, and the car ride, he ran.
Oh, it's an infestation ground. They are hard to get rid of.
Yeah, those are the things that are like, I pay that, the taxes. Yeah, just,
Martha, good job.
yeah.
On this,
Franklin's got a warning out on Facebook.
on these two from Hanover,
Yes.
from Seabrook, do you break these out?
People hacking,
Do you break
that's
these
what I'm
out?
just showing, somebody off in and I got everything down there.
I didn't look at
I'm
that, but
pretty
because
sure.
there's, this,
The last one I had,
is
I called
Well,
Facebook,
yeah,
they said they couldn't do
It's all
anything
water.
for me to,
That's
call
all.
the police, so I called down in Frank Martinsville. And he sent a blank over and he filled out the paper and it was supposed to went to Attorney
Smoking
General's
all the
office.
village
But
departments.
they couldn't do anything because the guy was out of the country. This guy is wanting the money sent to Michigan,
They'll be rolling.
so I don't know.
Somebody burnt something,
Well, they burnt toast in there.
Well, this one, they
Filled the
actually
whole
copied
place
his,
I'm gonna leave this one on top.
he didn't ask for a request, they
I was the first one
they
to
copied
copy,
him.
and so.
I was gonna say, my kids
I
said
thought
about
it said
the
it should
top
be-
one. They've gotten up to make popcorn.
He was the one telling me to go
And I
ahead
can
and do it,
smell it
it was
before
okay, and
everything.
it was all right, and blah, 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 blah.
That makes her
Well,
Recognized too.
anyone that don't have any
Two
pictures,
pictures. Or,
have any
and it's one of those little videos, individual letters. That was, she was afraid of, yeah.
You know how I am.
that'd be a good narc.
Hey, we got real noisy when you walked down. It was quiet till you walked
Oh, that first guy, he worked on me for a month. Didn't work. I just went along with them, shoot.
Okay, here's my staff.
I sit there talking to her, I said, how's your girlfriend doing? She still go bad.
Yeah, when I should.
That's like, dude, I understand what it is. Man, I get a good cuss.
I do sports.
I told him, no.
It's the same guy. So,
Speaking of which, so I mean, he wanted to meet with us. We work together.
you don't see slang and have you been running the course. Now you fill out every course. You got yours and I got it online.
You can do it.
And
It's supposed to be sent to Michigan, so it's not being sent out to the United States, so maybe.
Yeah, so some of them, and.
Had we start with the big one,
No, we just get in, you know, and I said that he made times, and I would say, right up there and get in his face.
okay.
Sunday over the phone. He can be, that's what I know, he can be late after, he can be evening, Mark is back at 3, so he'll be back at 3:30. Well, Brandon's put out a warning on Facebook.
Yeah.
He said, you gotta look at
Is there more than one, or there's three? You gotta give me the last next.
We'll see, on the state police,
Is he
Tom Cox.
He said, yeah, you look at it.
Tom State, his truck is the longest, big, tall. And then some people that I remember, so I don't
But like I said, I don't know what you're doing. I'm sure. They got a lot of business. They got a lot of business. Where's the last time? You should have them all. You should have.
I haven't seen it, right? Yeah, what was it? That's right. I don't think it's
Yeah, well, I think we should go today.
I know, well, that's great, seriously. I think, well, I wish I had. Yeah. I wish I
I'm gonna spend time on my boat, go down, spend some money.
Is that what we're gonna do?
Because it's pretty cool, good weather, so rain.
And yeah, I do occasionally review the chest, making it.
Here's in September, 4 weeks.
But I think he has it on, you have it on your phone or on your something deal. I didn't bring my phone.
I don't try to find it.
Well, I didn't know about
I
that.
don't know whether it may be statutory. I can look.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, constitutional.
Well, I don't, but
That's okay, that's all right, we don't.
I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Well.
Yeah.
What time is it? 6:53.
And that was one of the
Is our meeting time at 6:45 or 7?
6:45. Well, that's, yeah, I'm gonna see it, well,
So,
yeah.
you know,
Well, he's gonna be where I was
so
saying.
we'll be trying to grab it. Nope, you're not going in.
Okay.
Church bells, nope, you're not going in. Train, nothing bothers her now. It may get her attention, but it doesn't bother her.
How they do it in that house over there on.
The only thing is, you know, we haven't done the gun thing. And I didn't sit outside with her last, well, Monday night to hear the fireworks. I'm afraid it would hurt her ears. I remember that.
We're gonna, stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. There we go.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, agendas here for everyone. We do have one change in the agenda because Mr. Deckard, Marshall Deckard, is going to introduce a reserve candidate.
And she's on our agenda first, so
Yeah,
that
she's first.
she doesn't
Yeah.
have to go through all the niceties that we go through during the regular meeting. Ashley has come highly recommended through Ryan Swank, and I put a little bio in everybody's position. She's 28 years old. She is married. Her husband is a police officer at Martinsville Police Department, and she's a resident of Martinsville, Indiana. She is currently employed at the Indiana Department of Corrections, and prior education, she went to high school at Bloomington South. She's a Panther, right? Ivy Tech, associate's degree in criminal justice, Indiana State, Sycamores. My youngest son's a Sycamore. Bachelor of Science, criminal justice, and she just recently went through the Spencer Police Department 40-hour pre-basic class, which is a requirement to, they require all reserves to go through the pre-basic course before they can be appointed. So she comes before us tonight, and I would like to introduce her to the board and ask the board to appoint her as a reserve officer for the Morgantown Police Department.
It's open for you guys to ask her any questions you want to.
Do you have any questions, Buzz?
Not at this time.
Okay.
I mean, who everyone is, I guess, is probably my biggest question. Faces.
I'm Mark Smith.
Hearts.
Board member, it's Sharon, you want to start there?
Sharon McIntosh, the clerk treasurer.
This
He's
is Lee Robbins.
studying.
He's
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Lee Robbins.
Looking for your oath.
Dixie Steve.
Becky Rose, Town Hall Administrator. Nice to meet you.
I've actually recently been employed at the Indiana Department, and what excites me about Ashley is the fact that we have a female perspective from, you know, some of the stops that we make and some involvement that we have with different clientele. And she is trained, you know, at the prison with a lot of training that most officers on the street don't have. So it would be, she would be an asset to the department.
Well, I'm familiar with some of that training you go through, and it is very well training for DOC. Any other questions? Well, you know, it's 16 hours a month is your commitment, right, initially?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
No, I would make a motion that we hire Ashley as the reserve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Now, it's my understanding that she has what, roughly like a 6-month training before you would,
Yes, she's going to be, we would not put her on as a driver in any of our vehicles. She's in a ride-along program for at least 6 months. And I was just introducing some of that to Ryan and Ashley as well. I would like for her to ride at least with all three of us, a minimum of 2 hours before we, you know, even progress any further, so that she kind of gets a feel of the way everyone works and the kind of background and perspective of Morgantown from each officer's perspective.
Very good. Well,
well, I think you can stop in anytime. Did you find the oath?
I haven't yet. no.
Okay. You can just stop, you can just stop in anytime to town hall when you're over. Take the oath of office. And or you can stop in the county clerk's office in Martinsville, in the courthouse.
But if you probably have to take the oath, have you before you're burnt out for corrections.
Well, you are free to go home if you want.
Well, it's And you have babies at home, that mom hasn't been there today, so.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, guys.
Look forward to seeing you around town.
Definitely, you guys too.
Okay, thanks again. Okay, Westler.
Right.
Good evening, everybody. Would you like to hear water first, or would you like to hear stormwater first?
You're presenting. What do you want to do?
Wanna go first?
Sure, I'll go. So for the stormwater portion, it's pretty short and sweet. We have evaluated all the bids that were received. There were 6 bids submitted for the stormwater improvements project. And we evaluated them, we've tabulated it to an official bid tab, which we have for the council tonight. And the low bidder is Reed and Sons Construction out of Bloomington, Indiana. And they came in at a price of, this is base bid plus all 4 ad alternates, $772,100.50. So that's under the 787 goal that we had. So good news that we'll be able to hopefully award the base plus all 4 ad alternates. So we have a notice of award document here, plus the bid tabs and all the bids, and those are the council.
Okay.
Does everybody have a copy of the certified bid tabulation?
No,
No.
we have this. It just tells us,
That's the minutes.
it just tells us what the bids were.
And then this, they have that.
Oh, okay, they have that's the bid evaluation letter, yeah.
Yeah, the
So
bid
basically,
evaluation letter you have.
the bid tabulation, certified bid tabulation that Alex mentioned is just the certified bid tabulation that has our stamp and signature signing that we certify everything is correct. And then the bid evaluation letter basically explains the process by which we can continue forward. Tonight, the council can award the project with being contingent upon for releasing the funds for the project, from what I understand. So if you do not have a copy of the notice of award, I believe Alex brought some copies
We
with him.
do have. I thought that was all water grant stuff. It was all together. Okay, no. Okay, stormwater. Gotcha. Did you find it? It's in the packet that we have the change order.
One,
Has the water.
Reed and Sons, you've worked with these folks before, or?
I don't believe we have specifically.
Our office does not work with Reed and Sons, however,
It's
we
in the
check
same
references with Reed and Sons. They're currently, as part of their bid package, they provide references. We call the references and verify that their quality of work is good. I know that the Oprah has worked with Reed and Sons. They're not the engineer, but they gave good references as well as far as submitting payment applications on time. Their quality of work, from what we understand, is good. Okay, so we don't have any reservations. We don't have any disputes, I guess, as to their responsiveness and their responsiveness and their responsibility, I guess, with the work.
I got a good reference from today from one of our suppliers, which is probably one of their suppliers too, but I have a relationship with utility supply, and they highly recommend it.
Once we get the money, then what's our time frame that we're looking at?
Well, I guess from tonight, unless you want to speak out.
No, the timeline better.
The timeline from tonight, from what I've been told by Oprah, is that once the council awards based on contingency, release of the funds, we will take the bid evaluation letter and forward it on to Kent Anderson at Kent Consulting. Kent will then take that and the certified bid tabulation, and he'll submit it to Oprah. And from what he told me is that in 2 weeks, though, about 2 weeks' time, we'll turn around the release of funds. So the council can then choose at that point to have a special meeting to award the I guess if you sign it tonight, making it contingent upon, you won't have to have that meeting. Or the council could choose to wait until their August meeting to award the project. It's up to all of you what you want to do.
And then the project will get started fairly quick.
Yes, we would start the, we would send the contractor a letter that details the contract documents, what they need to provide as far as agreements, bonds, power of attorney, insurance, all that information we need to have first. And then at the same time, they'll start to submit shop drawings to Alex with all the materials that they plan to use for the project so we can start reviewing.
So did they give you an idea about what a project like this, the timeframe would be for it to complete it?
Reed and Sons did not, however, in the specs, I believe the timeframe for substantial completion of the project, which is where everything's installed and working, is 4 months, I believe, 120 days. So before Christmas time.
Oh, we should have it before that weather, right?
Yeah.
So, and, I mean, that's great news. So we are gonna be able to do everything. We're gonna be able to do all of those added on. We'll be able to do all of them. Wow.
Correct.
Yep.
The base bid plus the 4 alternates came in really great.
That is really nice. Yeah, okay. So, need a motion to accept the bids for the stormwater project for Reed and Sons Construction. Their bid 772, $100,050.
$772,100.
Yeah, $100.50. Yeah. 2 million zeros. That's a lot of money. Lucky to get it. Okay.
Did you get it?
No.
I move that we award the project to Reed and Sons Construction in the amount of $772,100.50 for our wastewater, or our stormwater improvement project. Stormwater improvement project.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, carries. And you just need a signature, right?
What we, and we're authorizing Joellen to sign. Have we done all that?
It says, well, yeah, we did that, but it says council president.
Well, I know, but.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But let's move to authorize Joellen to sign all documents related to the stormwater improvement contract with Reed and Sons and all other matters related to that project with regard to funding and grants and as may relate to the engineer. So that as these things come along, she can sign it. We run into sometimes to that contractors or particularly funding agencies will want express authority to have been given to sign the documents. So we'll have a motion authorizing her to sign all those documents. Can we do that? So moved in a second or something.
I saw it.
So, is there a second? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Then we have that sort of blanket authorization in front of us. Okay,
So
thanks.
this one is signed. How many do you need?
Just the one.
Just one, okay. Sharon, do you need one
You're
signed?
Alright.
I need one.
Yes. It's in your packet.
That's the one I sent you.
Oh, that's the one you sent.
Yeah.
I've got extra copies.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, I've got to sign it. I need you to sign it for us.
I think that,
Do you have-
that was it right there.
It was?
Now, on the,
So it's maybe
on the
released.
Pine Street,
Here, let me just
on the
keep it.
Pine Street section of this, you know, when they're gonna redo Pine Street, then when they take the bid for that paving, will they let us know so that we can get a bid for the, just to complete the rest of the street? Can we coordinate that with them, or can we know who they're getting a bid from to do the paving?
So there's a portion of that street that you want repaved that's not included in the project, is that what I understand?
Yeah.
You probably can work with the
The
contractor.
project ends at Gibson, and the Gibson paved, and just go ahead and repave the whole street.
Whoever Reed and Sons uses for paving, you probably can coordinate with their contractor to do that. I'm sure they'd be happy to do that.
And that's something we can probably discuss at the pre-construction conference, which will be a meeting with
Uh-huh.
Reed and Sons, and you guys and us before the project starts.
Okay. Yeah, because that would be a good thing. Okay.
Just so the council knows too, we have all 6 of the bids that were received with us tonight. We presented that to Lee, he's reviewed the bid packets for the low 3. We are comfortable awarding to Reed and Sons. We are going to, we've taken the bid bonds out from the 5 highest, because those bid bonds need to be sent back to the contractors. We will keep the low bidders, Reed and Sons bid bond, and then when they submit their, when they sign the agreement, they submit their performance and payment bonds, those bonds will replace the bid bond, essentially, that's how it works. So we're gonna go ahead, we wanna let everybody know, we're gonna go ahead and send the packets back to the contractors along with the bids. And then we will leave this for the town's records, we'll leave the bid packets.
And I just want to say, too, I think all this is fine. I did not review the full bid packets on any of them. There were a couple of questions, one on a discrepancy in the scope of work issue that I talked with Andrew Dream about, and we resolved that. I think it's fine. And I reviewed the drug testing policy for Reed and Sons to make sure they comply with the new statutory requirements. I didn't really look at any of the rest of the bid package, just those 2 issues. Is that all right?
Okay, we have evaluated.
Yeah, I know you
We
have
checked
that.
their finances and everything.
Yeah, right.
I think that's where the 2
I just looked-
questions were.
Right, but I just looked at those 2 specific things.
Okay, I think that's all on the stormwater portion. On the water side, with the tank and also the mains and the treatment building and the wells, I have a payment application to present from Infrastructure Systems, who's the contractor for the mains, the wells, and the treatment building. This is their second pay request, which I don't know if you all have a letter of us recommending payment to the contractor for their second payment application. And
Yeah.
I've got 4 copies of the payment application here. It is in the amount of $225,720.91. I'm presenting it for the council's approval tonight.
So, okay, now, their retainage, will it go to 5% after this payment then?
That is up to Infrastructure Systems. They have not, they are past 50%.
Yeah,
They have not requested reduction in retainage. So if they choose not to and they want to hold 10%, then we won't change it. We'll hold 10%.
Okay. And
So we have.
now Sharon, is that reflected on this?
No, 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 I don't think it does. That came from Steve Brock, and I couldn't get a hold of him, because there was a couple of, questions I had. Well, he did go to 20, which is the one I've got here for Westler, so it is not on there yet. This one that you're bringing is not on the spreadsheet yet,
No, this one's brand new.
and it's brand new.
Steve would not have seen it.
Yeah, he would not, and I haven't, yeah.
So you have another one for, that's number 20?
I have the number 20 on, from the spreadsheet. I'm going to have Westler's bill for
That's
Dylan.
that's our fee.
Yeah, that's their fees. And I've got that one right here.
That's the stack that we have.
Yeah.
25,744.
So when I send this signed and everything to Steve, he will send me a disbursement request, and I'll sign it. Then he'll put it on the spreadsheet.
Correct.
Okay, so the 25,000 is, but the 225,000 isn't. So, I'm just trying to figure out where we're at. So before that, we had 611,000 left.
That's probably about right, yes.
Mhm.
And then, so then the 225 comes out, so, and then, okay.
So the balance to finish that they have not billed for yet, ISI, their balance to finish plus retainage is in the amount of 428,000 and change.
Mhm.
So they are a little past halfway.
I just, I like numbers. So I'm just trying to understand, we have 611.8, and we're paying 225.7. And that takes us down to 300.
Here's the spreadsheet.
Then, is that plus Okra? We haven't used any Okra money yet, right?
Yes, we
I
have.
believe Okra,
This,
ISI's first application was
Yeah.
taken from Okra.
this 303,505, 60. I received the Okra money today, at our post today, and I wrote them the check for, I talked to Jeremy today too, and I wrote them a check for that.
Now, which
So,
one's that?
This is the pay application number 1, which is, see here on here, it says the previous payment. On the
So
front page.
so that's being paid then out.
Over the whole thing.
That's not being paid out of this.
Right,
Okay, so we'll still have 600,000, okay,
yeah,
okay, because I was, okay.
yeah, this is,
That sounds more reasonable, I was a little bit,
yeah.
I don't want to run out of money.
I got the money today, wrote the check, so.
Okay, so the 300,000 that we sent him last time came out of Okra, so what, would 225 come out of Okra?
No, Jeremy didn't say anything about it, so,
I believe, I don't know if Jeremy will pull the rest of it out of Okra and then the balance
Balance
that
out SRF?
will be SRF. I imagine that's how they'll do it. They'll max out the Okra funds and then they'll bill the rest to,
he said he wanted to use large amounts
okay.
with Okra.
Yeah,
Okay.
big checks.
Mhm.
Sure, yeah.
They want the big checks, okay. So we need a motion to pay 225, 720.91 on that claim.
Okay.
Is there a motion to pay? And and infrastructure, I guess that's gonna probably come out of Okra. Okay. We don't have that much in Okra to pay that.
What?
Oh, that's okay. I don't think we have that much in Okra to pay that.
I don't know the balance left in Okra. I know that 303,000 of it was paid out of Okra.
303,
Jeremy gave you, here's the balance, 214, 494.40.
and this is for 225.
Mhm. So he'll probably use all this and then part of, Okra,
Yeah.
or
No, that's all right.
SRF to do it.
Okay. Do we still have any grant administration fees that we owe, Kenna? Because grant administration can't be paid out of SRF, right?
I don't know that. I don't know if I can.
Grant administration has been, well, some of it has and some of it hasn't. It's not, see, Kenna is not on this sheet.
I don't think grant administration, I don't think SRF will pay grant administration fees.
Yeah, they're not, so that, you're right.
So we have
Yeah, you're right.
we have to make sure that they keep enough back out in that to pay
Yeah.
their fees, because we don't want
But
to,
I
the town have to pay them.
Yeah, I didn't get anything from Kenna this month to turn in, to present, I just have the one item.
Okay. Well,
So-
you might want to have that conversation with him, because I think the way that would work, now Lee, you can correct me, but if they are not, Okra won't pay their Kenna fees, the grant administration fees. So if we use all of our grant, and then we have grant administration fees, the town would be liable.
Yeah, but we're not.
So we want to make sure, because we don't want the town paying something that we don't have.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay, I'll call Kenna
Well-
and talk to Jeremy.
sorry, did we have a motion to pay the 225, 720.91 to infrastructures, ISI? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Sharon, you can sign these, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Okay, now what? Now what do you got?
I've got 3 more items. I've got a change order to present to the council for the tank project. This was, the change order is related to the additional shop and weld inspections that TIC had to do because of the defective steel welds that occurred, and also the additional construction administration time on Westler's part to facilitate and coordinate those, the corrections in that work. And we've corresponded with Phoenix and have had them sign, and I've already signed it as well, a change order in the amount of $2,126.63, which Phoenix is paying. They are going to pay that to the town. They're going to we're going to take that off the top of their contract. And then the second item that I have that accompanies that is an amendment to the contract for the town to sign. This would be our contract with the town of Morgantown to have that amount reimbursed back to Westler, and then we would pay Tank Industry Consultants for their fees, what they incurred for that additional work as well. So it's just basically a change orders, a transfer of funds, from the contractor through the town to Westler.
Westler pay for that, okay.
So we would need the council's approval and signatures on both of these.
Okay. So is there a motion to accept the change order of rebate, 212663? I guess that's backward. Changing in our favor, 212663, because of the defective welds.
I saw that.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Now what do we got,
Let me
buddy?
get your signature on that.
Okay.
4 copies there, and then I have 2 amendments. We just need signatures on the 2 amendments.
Okay.
Just one of those for you.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Not yet.
And then what was the other, did you give me this one?
Yes, we're signatures on there. I'll give it an update on the water projects and everything.
Yeah, I'll write here, yeah.
We're getting ready to complete that tank. This middle of this month, from what I've been told.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, thank you. Now, Sharon, in my packet, there is this invoice from Ken of $5,000.
There is, I'm sorry, that's what I just realized. I spoke wrong on that. There is one for $5,000 for July. So I will call him to find out how much more they're going to be charging.
Well, they're charging, looks like $5,000 a month.
Yeah,
that's
it
what-
is
That's what
5,000 a
they're,
month.
yeah, 5,000 a month, so we want to make sure that we have enough.
But how long can they charge that? I mean, or how long does that go on?
Well, until they have $50,000 fee, until they're paid.
I didn't.
Okay,
But
but
we're
I'll
not
have
tracking,
to-
this is
yes.
what they were charging us, and this is how much is still
You know,
owed.
it's in there,
Okay.
it's in the contract, how much
Right.
that they were going to charge for the whole thing, and they parsed it out. So then, what else you got?
Well, I wanted to give an update on both the water projects to the council to let everybody know where those are at. The tank project, one thing that I wanted to discuss this evening, and I'll touch on that in a minute, is the logo colors, selection of the logo colors by the council this evening, hopefully, to let the contractor know what colors you want the logo to be painted on the tank.
You guys can pick up?
The last progress meeting that we had for the tank project, which was a few weeks ago, the contractor let us know that they were going to plan on starting mid-July here to start painting the tank. I have not heard an update since. But as far as that, it could be within the next week or week and a half when they start painting that tank. They don't need to know that they don't have to have the colors on site for the logo at that time, but I'm sure that they would want to know that ahead of time so they can plan on purchasing that paint and getting that ordered so that they're ready to paint that logo once the whole tank is painted.
Okay, we're gonna pass that color chart around.
Okay.
And you have one other thing, right?
You want me to keep giving an update?
Yeah.
That's the update on the tank. The mains, the wells, and the treatment building, all of the mains work is finished, with the exception of lining out here that passes underneath the railroad. And I believe we're still working out, trying to obtain please correct me if I'm wrong, an agreement, a signed agreement with the railroad. They had some errors in their last that I had seen. So we sent that, I believe that was sent back, and we haven't received a signed copy yet. ISI is planning to remobilize back in early to mid-August to complete Line E on the rest of the water main work here. I've been told that all the well work is finished, with the exception of some small items, I believe on well 3. And then the treatment building work was moving along as of the last meeting. So I don't know exactly where that's at, but I'll find out within, probably by the end of this week, to find out when the contractor's going to be finished with that. So they are wrapping up the work that they have on that project as well.
Now, when you say treatment building, are you also talking about well 4?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have, you have anything else?
That's all I have.
I think we might have some questions for you.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
When will they be paving?
Yes, Jeff asked me to talk about the paving. ISI has finished all the water main work. They have some unfinished patches in the pavement. I will contact them. If the town is concerned about those paving spots, we'll have them come back and complete that paving. And know that they would like to coordinate all of the paving at once, because it will be more economical for them to do that rather than have a crew come in, pave, leave, and then come back. So I'll get an update on when they plan on actually paving the unfinished portions. And if there has been any settlement in those trenches where they cross the pavement, ISI will fix that and make sure that the pavement's finished and flush with the pavement, so you won't even notice when you drive over it.
They do need to address some of the spots because they are starting to sink. I understand them having to wait about a month or so for it to settle before we're going to, if they do the finished product now, we would have it in the asphalt, but
Right.
some of the fill is, some of the temporary fill is settling in certain places, so.
Okay.
That would need to be addressed before. And like we discussed, yeah, economically, but they're not talking until the end of August to finish Line E.
Right.
And as far as hitting the travel portion period, it's not going to be that far to hook into the main, so if we just check to see on all these other spots.
I'll make sure to communicate that to them, that the town's concerned with that. And it is natural for the trenches to settle. That's actually a good thing. So you have settlement, you have compacted material around your water mains so that your mains don't move and they're supported adequately around. So they will come back and touch that up. ISI will be responsible for any settlement that occurs past the substantial completion date as well, a year later. So anything that settles out or anything that fails after we hit substantial completion, the town will have a year of warranty after that as well. And that will just need to be brought to our attention or to ISI's attention, and we'll get those items fixed if there are.
Okay. Now, I have a question. When they put that material in and they tamped it down, and that's what's really settled, and now we have the big, do they put that material a second time, or is it just the next application pavement?
It depends. If it's settled enough where they need to add more material, they will.
Some of it has, I think. think.
Yeah, they'll have to do that to make sure they have.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Okay.
Some of them, I think some of them, they have added material, right?
Well, just temporary, that, yeah, basically, I mean, there's technically, the line does help on certain spots, but they do need, there are some spots that need still some temporary fill put in them,
Okay.
because it's settled enough that it is a pretty good hole.
Sure.
So,
If you don't mind, I'll coordinate with you and we'll,
Fine.
we'll determine the locations that are of concern and we'll get ISI back here to fix those.
that's fine.
So just a guess, when do you think we'll have water in the tower?
Once the tank is painted, I believe it's probably 3 to 4 weeks of painting the exterior and the interior of the tank. Once that's painted, then we'll put the logo on the tank. The logo has to be applied when the tank is not full because of condensation.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want wetness on there. I would imagine that the logo could be painted within a week. After the logo is painted and put on the tank, the ISI needs to mobilize back to complete line E. Once they have line E in place, they'll connect line E into the tank, and at that point, the town should be able to fill that tank, and the contractor will be responsible for obtaining 2 bacteriological samples. They'll sterilize the tank, and then they'll make sure two bacteriological samples pass before you put that tank in service. And then at that point, contractor will have some construction on the drive entrance to the site as well as the fence. The fence will need to be put up for security purposes. And then after that, shortly thereafter, the demolition of the old tower will take place. And that will probably be finished within, I would say, probably 8 hours. It'll come out pretty quick.
How long does it take to drain it? The old tower?
Well, it just depends on how
We
many
just-
items you open and all that, I mean, that,
Yeah.
we're gonna have that'll be there, maybe, the way I understand it, because the new one's gotta be online before we can drain
Oh,
that
yeah.
one, so
Yeah.
that's part of the demolition aspect of it.
Yep. The demolition contractor will coordinate with Jeff and make sure that it's okay to drain the tank. They'll probably likely want it drained a day in advance or 2 days in advance to get all the water out of it and ready for cutting. So get up there and start cutting it in pieces and take it down.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Nope, we're gonna paint sample yet.
I need it back.
Oh, you did? Okay. Do you guys have anything that you wanna, on the logo, any of the paints that you wanna switch out or anything? Are you happy with the red and blue? I guess they're happy.
And that's just what was provided to us
Yeah.
originally, and that's what a black and white picture was put in our spec book, so. Council can change their mind at this point if they want.
It's red, blue, black.
Red, blue, and black, yeah, black,
Yeah.
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 Okay. What else have you
So as far as color selections, the closest
Oh, well, I
red,
guess you want a motion.
red and blue
Okay.
on the color sheet is good enough.
I think it's basically what we had on here, isn't it?
We have the different reds or blues.
The Monterey tile and true blue, safety blue.
Okay.
I think that's what they are. I can ask them.
It probably is.
Does that need a motion?
I don't know, it would be a good idea.
Okay,
It is
no,
a decision
okay,
for
no,
council,
yeah,
so,
okay,
it's
yeah.
our color. I think if I were Andrew, I'd want it to be a motion.
Probably a good thing.
Okay, well, you'll get your motion. Anybody want to make a motion to accept that logo?
Well, and actually to get the names that are on the
Okay,
sample.
it's
so-
true blue, true blue,
True blue.
and Monterey tile, isn't that it?
So the
Yeah.
motion would be to paint the tank as it's depicted on this handout that you have,
Uh-huh.
with the same font, the same language, and the same color scheme, right?
I guess.
The
If
red
that's a
being,
problem on the font or something, they can say so, but the colors are, I don't know,
with the red as shown being which red on the sample?
it's
Monterey red, okay.
the
And the
Monterey
blue
tile,
being
and the blue is true
being
blue.
safety,
True blue.
true blue,
True blue, safety blue, same blue.
okay,
And then black.
black,
And black, yeah.
and black.
And then the color of the tank.
Yeah. well,
They
we
come the
did that.
tank, and you've done that, okay. So it would be a motion to that effect.
Yeah, okay, is there a motion on that true blue and Monterey, whatever it is, Monterey tile?
And then I guess one other thing too, if you notice in the flag, there's some white. Do you want
Oh,
an
yeah.
actual white in there too, to
I would think so.
contrast with the warm sun, I believe, that's, okay. Then it's actually white too, so 4 colors. Okay.
Okay.
And then if the contractor has any issues with the font, they'll probably let us know.
Yeah, they can let us know.
They can match a lot of different things, so I don't think it'll be a problem.
Well, when I talked to the guy, he's pretty open on that kind of stuff.
And then we'll have a day where, when they come out, when they're ready to situate the logo, we'll have the town select, work with the contractor to situate where that logo is gonna be.
Okay, well, we can't wait for that day. That means close to completion, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we do the colors that we said, the true blue, the Monterey tile, black and white on the logo. Is there a second?
And the white.
And the white, yeah, white and black.
I second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. What else have we got?
That's all.
That's it? Well,
One more thing, since we're on the tower.
yeah, we're on the tower.
I need, an approval to pay veteran, as it says it's due July 30th, $190.96 for new service at the new water tower.
Oh, for the new
For
service.
the generators, yes.
Mhm.
And that's due July 30th. So I just want to go ahead and get approval for carrying the rest.
Is there a motion to pay that? Is that a hookup fee or something?
Yeah, which was substantially cheaper than what we thought, correct?
Yes.
Substantially
You were
cheaper.
thinking like
I know.
$1,000.
I know, I thought
Yeah.
that's the first number I heard was 1,000 range.
And Alex and I just finished staking it, so Dr. will know exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. And you're moving for that to be prepaid, right?
Yeah.
So you pay it before it appears on your claims docket. It'll be on next, you don't have it on tonight's claims docket, right? So you would prepay it, it would be on next month's claims docket.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
just because it says June 30th.
Okay.
July 30th.
All right.
How much was it?
190, 190.96 cents.
That's good.
Veteran. For the generator.
Okay. I made it with a veteran, $190.96.
And we need to authorize Sharon to prepay it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we're just approving the invoice, right?
Yeah,
It'll be
except,
just like what we did last month with,
yeah, but she's not authorized to write a check until you approve your claims docket, and it isn't on the claims docket tonight. So you want it paid before the next claims docket in August.
Right.
So that's why we say prepay it.
Prepay.
Right.
Okay.
So she can go ahead and write the check.
And it'll show up on the next claim.
Right.
docket, but it will
Right.
already have been-
Okay.
And that'll be paid out of the water.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Part of the, yeah, part of the
there a second?
project.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay? Yeah. Is that it, young man?
That's all. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moving right along. It's
Thanks for
exciting.
understanding.
It's very exciting. Okay. Now, Sharon, minutes from last meeting. Everybody have a chance to read the minutes? Any additions or corrections?
No.
Okay, otherwise, the minutes has been approved and submitted.
That's all right.
Okay, financials.
Okay.
I've got my copy.
Let's see.
So it's for the town, SRF.
You know, notice that we got our check from the county, General Assembly Revenue, $111,506. So,
This one. Okay. I get my list on
Yes, you do, you keep this
it.
right.
Okay. Thank you.
okay. She usually starts with, which one you want to start with, Sharon? Usually you start with income, revenue. You want to start with that one?
That's fine, or we've got these two in,
Oh, yeah.
yes, we need to
Yeah,
probably
that's right.
get them. The Kenna for $5,000, which is their July payment for grant administration. And then, whether you want to do them one at a time, Joelle?
We can do that.
Okay, and then the other one is Wessler's invoice, which you have a copy of, which is invoice 29158. And it is for the month of May, and for $25,443.90.
Okay.
And one is the Westler bill is paid from SRF, of course, and the other one is paid from,
Yeah, okay. So we have the two invoices, one for $5,000 to Kenna, we paid out of Oprah, and the other one for $25,443.90. We paid out of SRF for Western Engineering. Is there a motion to pay those two invoices?
I'll make a motion to pay those two.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign? Okay. So if, just so that I understand now, if we keep this sheet for Oprah, and we keep the other one for SRF, that should give us a rough estimate of where we are. Well, it should give us some, it should give us a balance, but I still don't understand that 110,000. Okay. Okay.
oh yeah, we're going to say that too. Okay, we did the minutes?
Now send those back.
And the other one is just, it's not for signature, it's just to put with the grant, the stormwater, will write up. Okay. Okay, first let's look at the revenue. We did get our March property tax check this month. And we also got our qualified court costs, which was July through December of last year. And we copied them on, and they just need to be taken to Martinsville for the first 6 months of this year. And does anyone have any questions about the,
I did have a question. This corporate cumulative capital development, now what kind of a fund is that? That comes from the county, but it goes just into general?
yes, they tell me on the paperwork they send, it will say Corporation General, and it will say that particular, mhm. Yes. And,
So, are we gonna receive any CCD money this year?
well, let's That's usually, it is usually twice a year. I'll have to check. So, yeah, the CCD, the action fund is what you're questioning. Okay.
Because we have money in it, but we didn't, 34,000, but we didn't receive any this year, right?
No. That said Corporation General, that CCD that we received with the property taxes.
But isn't that what that always comes? The CCD doesn't always come in that way in the check, says general.
Well, before I say, I'll have to look. I don't want to say. I'll check into it and I will let you know.
Okay.
Because I
How
didn't.
much do we normally get? Is it varied or?
And we get it, I thought we got it twice a year with our,
We do
with our
get-
checks from the county,
We do get it twice a year.
but this year we didn't get anything. So,
I'm pretty sure there were zeros there. They had zeros on that.
on the
They did.
CCD and the C, so you did it?
I
You're the one that did it?
Mhm.
Okay, you didn't do it. You did it, okay. So was there any money in CCI?
I would have to look, I don't think so.
But the CCD was all zeros?
Yep.
Okay, and there was nothing in VH, right?
It was just as, they always put zeros. They'll list what you could get, and they'll put the amount, but like if you're not getting anything, and you can't put anything into that particular fund, it will be zeros.
Yeah, it's very specific,
Okay, and you did this because,
because we got the checks in the mail, and Sharon wasn't in, so. I just
so
did
you
the
broke
bank.
them out?
Yep.
And you broke them out, okay.
But there's a there's a,
There's CCI and CCD.
but there's a cumulative capital development fund too. What I'm wondering, are you looking at the 2,500, 26, 25, 43 down here?
Yeah,
Well, I'm thinking that's the cumulative capital development fund, not the CCD. There's a CCDF that is that 5 cents per
but
thousand.
we didn't get anything on that this year. I know it's it's like 5 cents on.
5 cents per thousand, assessed valuation.
But we didn't get any.
But what, so,
But I
oh,
can do-
but when you look at the revenue here, this 26, isn't that what that's reporting? When you're looking at this 26, 25, 43, isn't that what we received just recently?
Yes, we
That was
received
in
it
the
this
6
month.
months, that's in the 6 months. But we have the CCD fund, which we have 34,000 in.
Right, but that's a different fund.
I know it, but we usually receive that money. Don't we usually receive money into that twice a year?
So wait.
According to my notes here, yes, we do, but it's very specific when we receive that paperwork.
What do you mean by?
Do you have last year's by the by chance? How much did we receive in this?
Oh, I don't have it with me.
Cumulative cap.
I don't have it with me. I'd have to, but I could have, I'll just have to look it up and get back with
Well,
you
that's
because.
okay, but I didn't know why we didn't get any in our,
In CCD.
yeah, we
Okay.
didn't get anything.
Okay.
But this,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, anybody have any questions on the income? Okay.
So we're gonna check and see that why we didn't get it? Is that where we're at?
Yes,
Okay.
It's supposed to be so much per 1,000, isn't it?
All right, are we talking 10 grand or are we talking, how much we talking about?
I don't know. I'd have to look at last year. I just know that I thought we got it twice a year. We got 34,000 in that fund. And,
Oh, I see, so you're down here at
We haven't received.
401,
Pardon?
I got you. You're looking at here at Fund 402,
Yeah,
under 401. At CCI, you did get the 1,100, right?
I think that's what it said. 1,100 in CCI and
But nothing at CCD.
nothing in CCD. And,
Yeah, that's worth looking into. I don't know. But we do get the money on the CCDF. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I was gonna say, I can check the receipts tomorrow just to double check.
I think Sharon needs to. I think Sharon needs to do that. Okay? I mean, isn't that correct, Mr.?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to know too, right?
Well, I do know, because I saw the checks.
No, I mean, you want to know why we wouldn't have gotten it.
Why we
If
didn't-
the
Oh,
question
yes.
is why
Why we
CCD
didn't
wasn't
get it.
funded.
Mhm.
Right.
Why we didn't get any, why that would be a zero, you know? Okay, what do you want to look at next?
Appropriation.
Appropriation? Okay. Anybody have any questions on the appropriation? Well, the only question I had was on the grant funds. We had an expenditure of $10,000. Now, what was that off of? Oh, I know, that wasn't this month, never mind, I know what that was. That wasn't this month. That's right. Okay.
Okay, and then the fund report.
Okay,
And this fund report is back to this
You see-
bank statement, so this is the final 6 months total. That show the balances in each fund.
now,
So, yeah, there's your CCD with the 34.
the fire department, have you written their check, their June check?
No, not yet. Are they ready for it? Okay, all right.
We usually pay it in June, that's why I asked. I mean, we used to pay it in June, I don't know, but anyway.
Well, they usually remind me that they want it. You gotta remind me.
Okay. Okay, what do you want next, the pay file or the?
Yeah, the pay file, please.
Okay, anybody have any questions on payroll? Okay, is there a motion to accept payroll, pay file? Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Send that right. Okay. Accounts payable register, are any questions on that?
The $10,000, you don't want to pay that tonight, so.
I think we need to find out what
I got
that
the
is.
email, so I will,
Because I heard from their CFO, or whatever she was, and she called me and she said they had submitted $170,000 in claims to, on the water project, and had only been paid $160,000. So I don't know where there would be a $10,000 difference, but I don't think the town should have to pay that if SRF will. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, maybe we do have to pay it, but
okay,
I
well,
like
maybe I
the-
need to, I did mention it to Jeremy, and he did get back to me. I really didn't know when we had our little meeting. So I will look my email, and then I'll send that invoice to get a disbursement request for it. Okay.
And
so-
you didn't get a bill from Kenna this month on their labor?
No.
Okay. Well, they'll have it next month. They don't forget. those invoices, when I reviewed the invoices, there were 2 in there for Steep Rock, but there's only 1 on here.
Where
Right?
was that at? In here?
Uh-huh. There was one for like 12 or 1,300, and then I thought the other was it 2,100 for the total of 2?
No, he sent me something and said that he sent me the wrong invoice, so I don't know. I was just going to go ahead and pay the original invoice that's on the docket and subtract the new invoice from it, because I don't know why I could not get a hold of him today.
Well, that's
Or the
okay.
day before the holiday started to ask him these questions.
He said $165 an hour. Is that correct? That's his rate, $165 an hour.
Yes, but I here, this, yeah, this bill right here is wrong. This one's wrong. The 2186.25, he said that it should have been 1361.
Okay, so you'll be voiding this then on here.
I can do it that way if you want me to. I can void that and enter the new amount, which is 1361.
Well, we won't want to pay him 2,100 if we owe him 13.
Yeah, but he's already sent me another bill for next month. But that'll be next month, so that's what we'll do. We'll just,
Well, we don't want to overpay him.
yeah, let's just do it that way. Let's, however the motion needs to be made.
Right.
However the motion needs to be made.
Right.
We need to vote, void, what's the AT?
Have you approved the claims docket yet?
Yeah, I saw 2 in there for him. and
Okay,
then
well,
this just had one.
I think we need a motion to,
No, that's where we're at, is on claims.
have you approved it?
No.
Okay, well then I think you need to remove his claim from it, so that you're going to approve it with the amendment, as amended with his claim being removed. All right?
It's new amount.
Yeah, you can do it with a new amount, or we just amended it, then it authorized Sharon to prepay him the 13 on the corrected invoice.
So
But
you're
you don't
going
have it on your claims document.
yeah, that's APV of 7569.
Okay. Okay, so you want me to just void that one, and then prepay him this, and it will be on next month.
And so how much is the invoice for the one that we owe him?
1361, that is for April and May. But he sent me I got this yesterday, yes, Tuesday.
So the other one that he has there, how much is that one?
The other one is, it's 1732.
So-
And it says, yeah, 1732.
So we're paying him $1,300 for April and May, and $1,700 is for what?
It says the month of June.
Wow.
But that won't be till next, that'll be next.
No, I understand that, that's, have you ever thought about bringing that other guy back that was $75 an hour? The clerk treasurer was referred by, who's over at Cloverdale or?
No, I hadn't.
I mean, that's okay, but I just think about $165 an hour. I think he was 75. And shit, was it one shoemaker? Something like that, though.
I've seen it every meeting. I can't even think his name.
Okay, well,
Okay, we're.
okay, we need to approve claims minus the 2,100 for Brock and insert instead of 1361 as a prepay.
I think we need to do that separately. I think we need to approve the claims docket as amended with the 20, whatever that number is, removed. Do that.
What's the
Plus the
If that's not on your docket.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It is? Oh, it
You said it wasn't.
Oh, I
The
didn't,
$10,000.
I want to see it back
You
here.
didn't see it?
Well, if
It
it's
is.
here, I must have looked past it.
It should be underwater. And I thought-
So you're wanting to remove that too?
Yeah, because, I mean, if SRO is there, I don't think we should pay it.
Okay. That's right.
I'm pretty sure it's back for Joel.
Let's see, I'm sure. No, if you say it is, I must have just looked past it. You know where it is, it's right above it. It's 7557. So
It's
we'll get
7557.
on your APV.
Okay, so we void that one too. For 10,000.
I mean, personally, I think we'll run it by SRO and see if they'll pay it.
Okay. Okay, so we're taking those two out and we're prepaid.
Well, that's the first motion we are going to approve. I'll make the motion, we approve accounts payable register minus APV 7557 for 10,000 and 7569 for 2186.25. Correct?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed, same sign. Passes. Now, we're going to make a motion to prepay Steve Rock $1,361 for the April and May invoice. Correct? Is there a second on that one? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, so we should be square on your claims, right?
Yes. Okay, can't see that.
Okay, there were no adjustments for wastewater, right?
I do need to ask the council's approval for something if they could grant it. For pool fill, normally people let me know ahead of time, they fill out the form, and then when we read the meters, I edit the wastewater side before they're ever printed. Well, I printed the bills this month and somebody forgot to tell me that they filled their pool. So they would like the wastewater credit for the pool bill. But I would have to go and adjust, make an adjustment at this time. And I just wanted the council's approval to do that.
Do we know they have a pool in this building?
Yeah, they have, yeah, it's just they forgot,
Well, it's
they
a fair
forgot to
question.
tell me.
Yeah.
So last year I caught them in time, but this year they forgot to tell me. Yeah, they do have a pool.
Okay. Is there a motion? Do you have any idea how, well, I guess it doesn't matter how much it is, it is what it is. Okay, is there a motion to give, and who's the person?
It's John and Shane again.
Ken, okay? To give Gatton's approval for, give them credit for their pool bill? That was on last month's bill?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion? Second? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, okay, yeah. And Jim, I put on your budget discussion for our 2017 budget. Do we have a timeline? Do you know when your meeting is?
Yes, I do, and I just want to talk about that. The meeting is the 19th, and
July?
in July, it's early. And I know it's a time crunch, and it would be great to have all the figures by that day when we go down there. If Joanne wants to meet down there, that's fine, or whoever. I've gotten police departments, and I need Jess, but I also need ideas. I mean, I need what the council is planning and what they're planning to spend this year.
Well, in the past, you've given us the form, have you been able to?
Yes,
You don't have that?
well, they just now got a gateway online. What I gave them was a little different from what I want to give you. So can I,
Can you get those to council tomorrow?
yes, can I get them to you and then you guys can look at them and,
Sure. I think if you get it to us tomorrow, then we can.
I would really appreciate it. This is kind of personal, but my husband's going to have surgery next month or next Wednesday. And I don't know how it's going to come out.
The 13th?
Yes.
Okay.
And it could be, you know, he may be laid up for a little while, and so it would ease my mind if we could just all work together and get the figures and get it done.
You know, give to us, and then, I'll get with
And you've got the current fund report, the current.
Well, you have the report that you print that has 3 years, 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I will.
yeah, if you'll print that and get that to us, then we can go down through there, because I know there are some things that will happen next year. Okay.
I didn't know if the building was going to be started on this year, if any money was going to be spent. Probably don't even know that yet. And that matters.
Hopefully.
And, you know, I know. And then I don't know exactly what Jeff wants, so.
That sheet, that format sheet will help me out with this.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I was used to filling out those other.
I called up there and they
Okay.
said that
Yeah.
the Form 1 was ready, but they sent out an email and said it was.
You know, and if you have an idea, if you can have an idea of what they estimate our insurance may go up, I think I read
I
some.
called Kevin Parks and he said he felt like the health insurance might go up 10%. But the other insurance, people have the building, he said he didn't think it would go up that much. But when we remodeled, it went better. So that is something to think about. And, yeah, that's really all I know for sure.
Okay. Well, I read somewhere that national average will be 12, so. Yeah. Okay, so you get those to us and we'll get something back to you before you're 13.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Or so I can at least get as much done.
Yeah.
Because everything may go great, but it may not.
And
Maybe
you know-
in there one.
Do you have they given you any idea of how much that we'll be getting?
He said we would know the day that we go.
Okay.
But last year it was,
They didn't know.
they didn't know. And this year they will know, he said.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And if I remember correctly, Dixie's not done this before. If I remember correctly, we meet with him, and then we can come back and move those numbers around any way we need to. So, okay. After he tells us what we'll have. Okay. Okay. If you have.
First request, which is now going to sure have to ever pay. Of course, our old jetter is down. Pump shop for several months, and they can't find the parts to fix it without spending 3 times what it's worth. We have access to a jetter machine that is identical to ours, and on good faith, the owner, which is the woman out, her husband passed away, said that, and the son also said that the last time it was used, we're fine. The pump, and that's the main thing we're concerned with. We're not that extra concerned with the motor or anything like that, but regardless if either one works, I'm asking for $500 difference, I'll put it to $500. And if it's a workable unit, it's going to be worth way more than that. Let's just put it this way, a new jetter like ours would be in the $40,000 range. So I think it'd be worth the gamble to try to go the $500 route first.
I thought that was on the dock.
Yeah, right. Oh, was it? Oh, was it?
I
Okay.
think it is, but I'm trying to find it. Did you not, did you see, I mean, what's her name?
To be honest with you, I didn't have time to go through all that this time.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, but that's fine.
But okay, well, that's nice.
You can explain why. Yeah, with that.
So it's on the dock.
We did, who is the repair, I mean, we split the console, or do we have?
No, I'll take it up to Quality Repair, who does the majority of the, well, they specialize in, mainly they specialize in jetter trucks, like septic trucks and stuff like that. That's what he mainly, and he builds septic trucks and what the jetter truck that goes on.
I mean, if the pump is good, that's what we would direct the pump,
Yes.
but we will not need the rest of it. But do we work anything with those folks?
No, because it's so ancient now.
You might need
And
some.
if the motor is fine, which they said it is, you
guess you need a motion for the 2450 for fluid waste services to come down today. Are you gonna do Arnold Street again, or is that a willow tree, that nice willow tree that loves to get on?
It'd be nice if we had it there, if we could kind of check on the street bit first. But I don't know. I've got a couple of easement areas.
Okay, is there a motion to bring the fluid waste services down for a day for 2450?
Let's go.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Wouldn't they come when you want, right?
Well, I mean,
It's good.
yeah, I gotta make sure that I have a truck, so they're just gonna have to take a truck out of service for that day, and see down the house, yeah. And, so as far as the day, the only other thing I have is the bank, on the west side of the first bank, there's a section of sidewalk that, they're worried about liability because there's, a little bit of chipping in it, so they're worried about liability on it. And, they got a bid, and I got a bid, from a, I don't know if it's a facility that they use up Reynoldsburg or what, but, they got a bid of 63.25, it's 40.5 million feet, and the 5-inch curve wall. For $63.25, $6,325. I got the bid from a local contractor for $16.21.40 now. Their bid, and they were going to tear it out and replace it. Now, the bid from Southern Indiana Earthworks for $16.21 is based on that. We are going to tear it out, and then they're going to do the finish. So, but with that difference, I don't see how that would make a difference. So,
Well, I think we can approach that. I'll make you a bid on that. Because they're willing to pay $3,100 as it is right now. You know what I mean? They submitted the bid, they said they pay half if we pay half, which is, I think that's the normal on sidewalks generally, but they pay half if we pay half, and, but that would have been over $3,100, so.
That's not what you guys really have spent on it. Right?
no.
Because they're gonna water it out for the 60-something.
Right.
6325 is total.
They're gonna tear it out, so we don't have to fool with it.
Right.
So if the bank pays 3,100 or whatever it is, and we
We pay
pay
the other
3,100 and we don't touch it,
Right, we wouldn't have to touch it.
that's about it.
That's fine. I just wanted to get another bid, so
Yeah.
whatever you guys decide.
Well, that's how, to me, that's what I'm afraid of. Yeah.
That's it.
Any thoughts, Mr.? Any thoughts? Okay. Well, are you making that motion then? That's with Hokan, isn't it Hokanson?
Yeah, okay, so, companies, West 103rd Street, Indianapolis. Well, that might be the property manager. Yeah. Bowman Construction on the Brownsburg is the vendor. Yeah, that property manager is part of that Bowman's company.
My other question would be, that bid for the 1,600 that we got, I wonder what kind of bid we would get from them to tear out into.
I don't know.
What do you think, it might be worth finding out? What do you think? It'd be worth finding out from him why he would do the total job for us. He might come in at 4, you know?
Okay.
Let's just do that.
Well, if we, you can check on that, but if we, you think
Well, the only thing is, I mean, yeah, what we're gambling is how it's a curve, and that is freshly paved. So we are gambling and we are taking that curve out. That's not that freshly paved road, this is taking the tree in, and that would be our paving fix, where, but I guess if, I don't know, if council wants to give you a little bit of leeway of giving this amount of approval, and if I can get it cheaper than that, then go ahead and do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that way we don't have to wait another month. That's your guys' call.
What do you want to do?
But that's fine, whatever you want to do.
Oh, I think we will. We'll see. But anyway. Okay.
Stay with it.
You need anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. How about that police department? You got a whole page here.
I don't have a full page, I'll be brief, I can talk fast.
Hang on just a second, that $500 for the gym that you talked about is not 100%.
It's not. It should be. I had to void that check, so I bet that's where, yeah. So
Okay,
we need
so I
to-
guess-
I'm glad you brought that up.
We're back.
I'm glad you brought that up.
We're backing up. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we prepay the $500 for the lady on the jet. Is there a second? I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
What's her name?
Nancy something.
I don't have the birthday.
But you know, we know.
Yeah, she's got the, I got the invoice.
And it don't have it on the next month's
Yeah.
stock.
It'll
Right, you have the invoice on your phone.
I don't know if that's important.
Okey-dokey.
All right.
Three state statutes, 12 warnings, and what do we got?
Total in June was 49 calls. Previous year, I have from last report, so it doesn't apply. Citations, state statutes are through in 12 warnings, all traffic related. The ordinance citations, there were no citations, however, there were the warnings that were sent out, and people took care of the violations before the 10-day was up. So there were no citations necessary. There were 5 arrests, criminal arrests, 3 one-on warrant from previous charges, from 2 from Johnson County, I believe 1 or 2 from Morgan County. And there were 2 new charges filed. Of course, the introduction of Reserve candidate Ashley Burleson, thank you very much for approving her. And then from what I passed out last time, requested the board adopt the job description for the deputy marshal's position. And the reason I'm asking for the board's approval on this is because as I read the handbook, policy, employees policy and handbook, the board does the hiring and the firing. So I believe that based on a job description, the hiring, it all falls within the same authority. So I'd like to have the board's approval on adopting the job description that was passed out previously.
Everybody have a chance to read that? I read it, I thought it was pretty good. Did you have a chance to look it over? He handed it out last meeting.
I can't, but I remember looking at it, when it was passed out last meeting. I did not review it, be looking at it now.
Okay.
But I don't recall it properly.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the job description as presented?
I move that we adopt the job description.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, and was attached, the performance agreements falls in line with that. That doesn't necessarily need approval. Cell phone stipend, I did check into that. And once again, we require our people to carry a cell phone, require them to answer the cell phone and respond if we need them. And most departments have a department phone and their personal phone. I think we would be money ahead not to do that. If we can pay a stipend per month or even per annually, I think that I checked with Joe Ray, and she told me that the stipend for the directors, I was paid $30 a pay, which was $60 a month. I think that's a little high for the police officers because I use my phone a lot more at the school as far as looking up students, looking up locations, and tracking down bus-related situations. So we did check over the average nationwide, and $35 to $40 per month would be the average stipend.
Yeah, we're talking about 3 phones.
3 months, yes.
Well, if we do those, well, we should probably do them too, because they use their phone all the time.
Do your job.
Do that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least
No, yeah.
3 phones.
Three of the police, because they use theirs all the time on locates and all that. And those lovely iPad things. Okay. Okay, so what do you recommend, the 35 to 40, what do you guys think? Now, there was another advantage, wasn't there another advantage to us paying part of the given the stipend?
Well, if we require, them to carry phones for call-outs and require them to answer for call-outs, we don't supply them with a phone. And so it's far cheaper and far better for us. We don't have to monitor whether they're abusing a department phone or not, or one of our phones making unauthorized calls on it. It's a nightmare. The stipend is by far the most economical and efficient way to take care of it.
If you call somebody, 3 people in your department, and you call somebody that's not on duty on your phone, I mean, you call them for an emergency, right? So we should answer it.
Yes, and that's the baseline back on keeping everyone updated and knowing where everyone's at. And there's times that, and with cell phone signals, you don't get good signals in certain areas. So I also provide my wife's phone in the event that my phone is not getting through, and I don't get a location. I might be bush hogging, I might be doing something where if I need somebody to hold an emergency, I also provide backup number that costs as well.
So we need a motion for that. So we need a motion to pay a stipend for the use of your cell phone for 3 folks in the marshal, what do you call it, their first deputy, and the deputy.
Right, both are there.
Both
Deputy
are.
marshal.
Okay, and then 2 folks in DPW. All right.
You gonna get $40 or 35, or what do you do?
$30.
35? Okay. There's a motion on the table, is there a second? Okay. In the discussion, I will tell you that looking here, we did budget last year $6,500 for telephone and internet. We've only spent $2,300 halfway through the year. And yours would come out of the others, so it wouldn't be in there. So we do have money in the budget that would cover it. We do have money in the budget that would cover it. So, okay, is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Okay.
Hey, number 6, we're in discussion about with Morgan County Sheriff and Emergency Service, we reference server space for Morgantown government entities. That would include the clerk treasurers, DPW, and the police department. We have been informed that there's plenty of space on their server, so server space wouldn't be a problem. And provided you with information to look into the in.gov email. I believe this would make things a lot more efficient for not only DPW, but for the clerk treasurer and police department as well. Then we could have a further discussion on a Morgantown webpage that basically we can put all the ordinances on. People could go on there and look up information and find out when things are due. So I think that this is just a everybody up to speed with that, so that we are going that direction. Just a follow-up report discussion regarding the new fuel dispensing station, and we did meet Jeff and myself and I don't know, Brad was, I think Brad was there, and I'm sure he was late. And he was late, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. But anyway, it was very impressive. It's a good report. It keeps things organized, keeps things straight. Jeff's got some figures on that, however, and not totally complete until we look at some new tank figures and what the total cost might be.
Brad informed me that as long as we use like Premier or something, they supply the tank. So I guess that one figure would be the one that we would have to discuss in the fire department. Whatever you want to do.
It was Brad.
Are you, now we have 4 tanks,
We have 4 tanks now.
and you're gonna shut them down. We're not gonna keep the 4 tanks, right?
That's our thoughts that we're gonna go to. I don't know what size tank we have to decide, so. I guess.
Well, my question is, the thing you're talking about, show who gets what.
It'll show who is what. We can dispense our fuel, our gas is out the same tank as DPW.
Or the fire department.
Yeah, or the fire department, as far as gasoline.
Right.
So they were down to 2 tanks, but 2 dispensing stations, or 2 dispensing control boxes.
Right.
And one, because one of them is a diesel fuel, I think it has to be different when it's a different kind of fuel.
And everybody's okay with it, all 3 departments.
They haven't met.
Okay.
How much was it?
Yeah, how much money are we talking
45,
about?
42, 63 cents.
That's what.
So, 4,000 is not on it.
Just say 40, 45, 42, 63.
Now, you say that included a tank or did not include a tank?
Well, the tank is supplied by the,
Supply pipe. So 4,500 is just the mechanism that keeps that.
And the only thing we would have to do is, when we get this thing, and get it in place, and it's gonna feed all this information to the computer.
The
And
computer, and it says the computer can set it in here, and they can fix a secure area for it to set it in here. And we'll have Brad or someone that's, in control of this facility, they can print those off and ship them out. That's where the email can come in really good too.
can they, like on your computer, can they send it to your computer also? Or I guess there would be a real need to it.
No, they usually send it to one computer, it's the master computer. You have to dedicate a computer for it, is the way I understand it. Because if you have to enter the key fobs in or enter information in, it has to come from that one computer. So
It has to be a hard-
And it'll break it down.
Hard line,
yes,
so we can't use like ours or yours.
right, it can't be Wi-Fi, it has to be hardwired.
But it'll break it down to police department.
Yes, you can segregate it by, you can query it and by gallons, you can query it by person, you can query it by department.
So if when Brad pulls it off of there, it's gonna say, okay, the fire department used this much.
As long as it's queried, I guess. And he can query it down to the individual, and then it'll take all the other stuff out and just give you one individual and what they use. And the date and time that was used.
Now, the 2 is what, 1 diesel and 1 gasoline, is that what you're talking about? Do you guys use diesel?
We mainly, we don't get there.
That's what I thought, you're mostly diesel. Okay. And we just have a
We
little,
might, we might.
we just very little, yeah. This is a silly question, but you said something about if I go in and I try and I start putting numbers in and it locks it up, won't dispense, right?
It won't stay.
That's right.
Well, it's not going to recognize those numbers.
That's what I mean, so it won't give me, but if you come along behind me, it's not locked up and has to be cleared before you come.
It's no different than a gas pump at a gas station.
Okay.
You put it in, it clears itself out and says invalid request, and then you just go and the next person comes in
try to just trick it somehow, it's like the school, you're not gonna trick it.
It's a lot like school.
That he, and if I make a mistake punching mine in, and then if I turn right around and punch it back in with the right numbers, because on that, the one we use, you have to have mileage, and so it'll know, this big, it'll hold so many gallons, and you driven so many miles, and, you're saying you're putting in the big gallons, and it may be wrong.
I would wait until you guys have your meeting tomorrow night and see what you decide. Okay? Don't you think?
Well, I mean, how do you want to pay for it? You want us to pay for that?
Well,
That's what I would need to know.
we'll have to look at it. We'll have to look at that.
Because there's some work that needs to be done with that also.
On the electric, is there electrical work? No?
Well, the guy itself.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. Do we have to, either one of you here know whether we have to build the thing around it?
It has to have some kind of a containment.
So we gotta add that to the price.
Well, unless we get double wall tanks. And if they will provide double wall tanks, right, then we don't have to worry about the containment.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if we use double wall tanks, and we end up with 2 tanks, and you're gonna be out here, about where the others are, and electricity's gonna come out of your pocket here, right? Right. If it's $4,000.
Well, I mean, let's wait and see what they decide, because you may discuss it at your meeting, and you're gonna say no, we're not interested. So let's just wait and see what.
No,
Let's wait and see what they come back with.
16 over 3. It
Yeah.
sounds easy.
Yeah, we'll just wait and see what because you guys have your meeting.
I mean, it is.
Well,
They're gonna
you
end up,
guys.
they're gonna end up paying the electric bill. It's gonna balance out for years.
And we felt that using the 4-digit code system was better than the fob, where you have a key fob on, or you plug it in and do the key fob. You go up to the punch on, and then punch it in, you punch the right code in, and it comes right back to it. Matches the vehicle, matches the mileage, matches the code.
Okay. You got one more?
Cleanup day, this is the big one. I really thought that it might be good for us to at least look at a day, probably the Saturday before Labor Day, for the cleanup day. I talked to Art Knight today, and he said it's on a Saturday, he could give us 3 Packer trucks. And he said probably haul everything that we want to haul out, 3 Packer trucks. And then I asked him about an appliance for appliances and some of that type of material. And he said he could bring a roll-off to do unwanted appliances because they take those to the landfill now. And he says the only thing that they don't take, unless they're cut up, is tires. And the tire pile at Brown County, it grows by several tires every day that I pass by there. And I don't know what they're going to do down there, but he told me that they have to be cut. If you put them in a Packer truck, but the sidewalls have to be cut out of both sides because the landfill won't take them, because apparently they've found they've worked themselves up out of the landfill. A tire does if it's not cut. However, if it's just a tread, it has to be all intact. But the sidewalls are cut out, and you can do it a variety of different ways. And just before the downpour today, I have a little multi-tool, and I took with a half moon, and I had an old tire at the house. I cut the sidewall out, and it didn't take me long at all to cut them out for car tires and light duty truck tires. But the heavy truck tires, we can't take. We cannot take. So, I mean, it might be a consideration. We might want to take a few tires. I don't know how many we'd end up with that day, but we could probably work some volunteers to cut the sidewalls out, throw them in the Packer truck, and they're gone.
So you guys are talking, you said the Saturday before Labor Day, or the Saturday?
Before Labor Day, because we want this done, we want this cleanup day before current water days, and that's the 15th, say the 18th this year, or the 17th?
Yeah, the 17th.
17th.
So you're talking like the 27th of August?
Yeah, the 20, and that would give us then some, a couple of weeks beforehand to have everything cleaned up, and that's over with, and then a week downtime, and then Colonel Water. Art was going to give us some figures on what, the packer would cost for that day and what the roll-off would cost.
Packers, that's a trash truck.
Yeah, trash truck. And he asked if we down every street. It's probably not. We might get volunteers to go pick up trucks down the streets, and that way leave the packers on the main street, and they can just come up and throw them in the packer.
If we're going to furnish that, they can bring the trash to us.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a special meeting, I believe, on the 20th. And so maybe at that time you'll know more figures.
I'll have the figures at that time, and
And I think we can approach the Lions Club for some help, financial help, as far as sponsoring it maybe. I know we get the insurance through them. If the Lions Club sponsors it, then they'll have $1 million liability policy. And so that's something.
but as we discussed earlier, I thought it might be good to get some of the community, some of the younger people in the community involved, and do a little slogan on a T-shirt or something, give out some T-shirts that day so that all the volunteers are identified with a T-shirt, and maybe clean it up for Colonel Water or something, have some kind of slogan on there, and the kids get involved in it. Whatever.
Oh, I think it'd be, that'll be a kid.
Very good. And you're going to be during the Lions Club, I don't think that's good. Packers.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the yeah. Okay. You have anything else to
Yeah, I don't know about that, but on the fuel dispensers right now, the only way that we don't monitor, maybe, but the only safety device we have on there is a lock and key.
Well, lock key and key on the electricity. So 2 keys.
Okay.
2 keys.
So I mean, we think we know where all the keys are, right? That you never know for sure.
As far as I know, our crew has been very much.
What it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, I really want to, if possible, work with the fire department and us.
And then tomorrow night, you come up.
Yeah, and get that switched over so everybody knows exactly what's going on.
Well, it'd be good for budget analysis and the forward figures in from what we spent last year, because, one of these days, fuel's going back to, probably after the election, $4 a gallon, and we really want to know where it's at and how to track it.
Well, and we have had problems. We have had questions. Questions. Okay. Are you through? Okay. Old business, we have 2 ordinances.
Yeah, 2016-2
Second reading.
is coming around. It is the ordinance adopting the uniform internal control standards for Indiana. We talked about this
First reading.
plenty, but this is about the new standards that the state has proposed for us to monitor ourselves more closely and account for our money and where it's going and why it's going where it shouldn't be going. So part of what we have to do in this process is adopt the uniform control standards that have been provided by the state examiner and state board of accounts. So we did that at the last meeting on first reading. This is the second reading of the ordinance that you've already adopted. And what it does is just has Morgantown adopt the uniform standards, which we have to. This isn't something you really choose to do. It's just following a mandate from the state examiner's office. So I present it to you. We have a number tonight. It's 2016-2 on second reading.
I'll make a motion, second reading, ordinance 2016-2, adopting the uniform internal control standards as per the state guidelines. Is there a second?
Right.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thanks.
And do you have another copy, Sharon? I'll trade you.
Yes.
Here's the signed one, and I'll trade you one that's not signed.
2016-3 is right behind it. It's related. Part of what we also have to do is adopt what's called a materiality ordinance, and that is to set a dollar amount of sort of at issue that will trigger a duty to report to State Board of Accounts that we've had an incident that we have deemed to be material. And material means it's significant enough that it ought to be reported to State Board of Accounts. And we talked about this too. I think I encourage you to get some thought to this between the last meeting and this one, whether you think this $100 threshold is the right number or not. I think, well, based on the limited view I have of the whole state, which, you know, is pretty limited, but based on that, I think this $100 threshold is kind of typical for towns this size. You know, materiality being $100 in Indianapolis would be kind of silly. $5,000 materiality in Morgantown would be kind of silly when we look at the relative size of our budgets. And so what I propose and what we're doing in other places, what I think makes sense is this $100. So if we end up with some discrepancy in an account, in a fund balance, in a petty cash account, in a deposit at the bank, that's $100, we need to report to State Board of Accounts. If we lose property that has a value of $100, we need to report to State Board of Accounts. We've also included in this that if we have something go missing or we have a discrepancy in our in a balance or a fund that we know or have reason to believe really is attributable to theft, then we have to report that too, no matter what the dollar amount is. I hope we're not going to have that happen. But again, this is something we have to do. It's not something we're choosing to do just in Morgantown. What we're choosing to do in Morgantown is to set the number at $100. If you don't like that, we can talk about changing it. But if you agree that that's a pretty good number, at least to start with, then we need to adopt this on second reading tonight. You did adopt it just the way I'm presenting it on first reading on June 6th. So if you're okay with it, I need to adopt it on second reading tonight too.
Did you guys, are you okay with the $100?
Aye.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we adopt 2016-3 on second reading, as we, was presented last month in first reading. Ordinance defining material losses at $100. For a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion carries.
All right, and I need a report. Is that it on that? Then one other thing, consistent with the notion of keeping track of our money and all. Marshall Greger, when he left, you know, we tried to address the issue of items of property he wanted to keep, which consisted of several guns, a gun safe. I think it was guns and a gun safe. I don't know if there was anything else or not. But we ended up having him identify what he wanted to keep. He gave us a list. We totaled up the numbers. He agreed with it. That was all good. Sharon then subtracted from the last check he got for approved vacation and comp time that amount of money. She did that based on my math. And I ended up making an $80 mistake. I had an old adding machine where if you go across the digital readout thing, the light sort of faded and what was an 8 looked like a 0. I didn't actually do the math wrong. I read it wrong. I messed up and we ended up paying to Marvin $80 more than what we were supposed to. He got $80 more from the town than what he agreed to accept in consideration for the property that he kept. So again, and I said, here's the email I sent you originally about it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I haven't heard back from him yet. So, we'll let that be for a bit, because he may be coming back from vacation or something, he may take a look at it, and you've not got it. So that's where it stands. I guess from a reporting requirement, it's not $100. But I know I copied you on the emails, and Sharon has been copied on the emails too. But what I want to tell you is, Marvin got $80 you shouldn't have gotten. Sharon wrote him the check. Sharon wrote the check based on the numbers I gave her. The numbers I gave her were wrong by $80. So the confusion is a result of me having read, I throw the machine away, by the way, because it was too old here. But I assume Marvin will get around to refunding back to the town that $80, and I'll stay with it until that happens. But that's the story, in case it turns into a story. I want you to know what the story is. Okay.
Time to tell. Wanted to see if you guys are available for a special meeting on the 20th with the fire department. That's a Wednesday.
What time?
Wednesday evening.
Whatever works best. It actually, don't have to set the time tonight, I can talk to the township board.
Okay.
We can do this together. Or actually
Yeah,
set this
yeah,
one.
if we do a township board, that's a great idea. And so it'll probably be evening then.
Well, I know both of them work and evening shift.
Oh, they
Two
do,
of them.
that's right, they do. Yeah.
Dispatchers. So,
Well,
if
you
that
let us-
early, like, lunchtime or earlier would work for you guys.
You let us know, but we're
Just let us know,
going to
Chris,
the
when you
20th,
get our
or
notice.
it's a Wednesday.
Okay.
I'll keep it open during the day, or I'll meet with, it's a special meeting, you come with me, special meeting with the fire department, township board, and some attorneys. Attorneys in the room. Okay, open for public comment.
I have a question. Why do we hold all the community questions, comments, until after you have already had your discussion and voted? Doesn't that make anything we have to say irrelevant?
Well, that, if you look at the Indiana Department, or Indiana IAC, Indiana Association of Cities and Towns, that's their recommendation. Public comment does not even have to be in a meeting. It's an option, decision of whether or not you want to allow it. But it's generally allowed either at the beginning of the meeting or at the end of the meeting. And it's not during the meeting. This is a
Okay,
meeting, we're having a meeting.
Right.
And you're observing that meeting, and then public comment is either at the end or the beginning.
but that doesn't give us any input into anything you say or do.
Well, I think one thing where people get confused sometimes is that a meeting like this is a meeting held in public, so you know what's going on, but it's not actually a public meeting. So, I mean, the discussion and the voting and everything has to happen up here. So, I mean, I guess we could listen to your comments, but it still would make a whole lot of difference. Because it's still up to the members up here how the vote goes.
So we really have no say.
Oh, you have said it. Yeah, I probably said that wrong. Yeah, it probably came out really good. Yeah.
I don't understand how we have a say.
Right. What do you want him to say?
Well, I don't
Say
know.
anything you want to.
I don't know.
This is your time to make
My,
a comment.
well, yeah, but you've already had your discussion, you've already had your vote. What's it gonna matter what I say now?
So we voted on 2 ordinances.
Oh, I'm just, and I'm not even talking about that, I'm just talking in general.
Well, that's if you go to a county meeting, have you ever been to a county
No.
commissioner meeting? If you go to Trafalgar to a town council meeting, if you go to Nashville to a town council meeting, if you go to Martinsville to a city meeting, that's the way they're all done. There's not you're talking about the town hall, basically, where there's a back and forth. And this is a meeting that this board is having, and the public is invited to observe, and then you have comment at the beginning or at the end.
But I still don't understand how our comments mean anything if they're after every after the vote and the discussion.
That's just the way meetings are set up.
Okay,
Have you read Robert's Rules of Order?
no,
Well, you might want to read it.
no, I haven't been to a meeting in about 15 years.
Well, you might, or you could go to a county council meeting or county commissioners, visit the school board meeting. You'll see that they're all conducted in the same fashion.
Good to have them comments at the beginning then.
Well, we could start doing that. We could start having them comment at the beginning.
I think I would like that.
Well, you have a chance now to make your comment. What's your
Okay.
comment?
I think you should have comments and questions at the beginning.
And so you generally when that happens, okay, we will think that.
I don't know.
I'll read what IAC recommends on that. In fact, public comment is not a requirement of any meeting. It's just something that we have. They recommend it, but there's a lot of communities that don't.
Okay.
And for a lot of them, if you go to their meetings, you'll have to ask you to stand up, state your name, and then talk, what your concern is. It's almost always after. That's how they do it.
They ask you when you come in, when you sign in, it will have a space there if you're going to make comment that evening or not. So you would put your name and what your issue is and whether or not you intend to speak.
Okay.
But go ahead and attend the county council meeting, attend any of the public meetings that they have, any governments that have a board like this. And I think you'll see that they're all like this.
All right.
Any other public comment? Yes.
I have one. I think if we would take that $80 out of lease pay, that he won't make so many mistakes. I'm just teasing.
I took ownership of it, Joe.
I know. I just think if we deducted that from your paycheck, you'd read that thing closer. I'm just
I
teasing.
thought that's where he was going, Joe.
Okay.
I'll make a motion